everyone. It is I, Axel Raven. How are you guys doing? I'm coming to you on this little special video segment that I wanted to try to do, but didn't really want to do it sort of live because I think it's so much to it. You guys probably have a lot of questions. You feel free to reach out to me afterwards or in the comments, in chat and Discord, etc. But today we have a little special segment that I have sort of dubbed the Minor F&I Insight Bite, and today we're going to be doing and diving a little bit deeper into scouting. I know that for firsthand, both it feels a little daunting at times. It also is super valuable to all the coaching, coordinating that goes on, the game planning. The more knowledge you know about your competitors, the better your team's going to play, the better your game plan is going to be set up. So we're going to dive in a little bit. I'm going to be putting the links hopefully in the description down below, so feel free to go and grab those and try this out. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so we've got 3 different tabs open, and these are the 3 different. It's just easy to swap. I have a Mac, so I use Command and tilde, the top right below the escape, to swap between the windows. If you have other windows open, you can minimize those just because it makes it so much easier to go between these 3 tabs. So the first tab I've got is this one. This is the video of the game that I want to scout. So you hop on over to the Simulation FL channel over on YouTube, find the game, find your competitor. You know, usually you want to start with their most recent game and maybe work your way back if you're doing multiple games or something, the very last game that they played. Because again, they can change plays up to, I believe, 10 plays here or there, but with a playbook of over 70, offensive plays, that's not a lot. So you can really get to know what a team plays. The other tabs I've got open here is this one. I just created a brand new Google Doc in my Google Drive. I named this one Drive Summary. We're going to be doing that. We're going to be using, scouting for the old team of the Seattle Tyrants from season 14. This is week 1. I don't want to give away any special secrets, any game plans from season 17. Didn't want to do anything like that. So played it safe. Went back a couple of years, I guess you could say, season 14. So yeah, we've got this blank Drive Summary where we will be putting in our information, our plays that we see. And then over here, we've got the 2 different resources. These are really important. These I rely on so much for scouting. So this first one is all the formations using color. They've got the positions: halfback, wide receiver, 1 tight end, quarterback, fullback. All of those are sort of highlighted here with all the different packages and formations within each package. So here we've got empty as an example. So we've got ace empty, ace at H flex, all these, there's a lot of them. So that's empty. We've got all the way through far, near, I form, weak eye, strong eye, shotgun, single back, single left, single right, all these different things. So there's a lot of them. You can, if you want, you can, print them up, put them on, keep that there on the side as well, instead of using the digital PDF here. This is just as easy. So I've got both this PDF up so I can use that as sort of my package cheat sheet. And that gets me started. That gets me half the way. And then I think this was created, this sort of folder of all the APF screenshots of the different plays, both offensive and defensive, all organized by formation and package. And I want to say it's made and created, uploaded by the deputy commissioner. It was just great, huge resource for those that may not have the game. I have the game, but it's hard. This is so much easier to have it right here, swapping between tabs instead of trying to do it on whether that's on the emulator or on the TV with the Xbox or the PS3 with the controller. So here we're going to be scouting the offense. So we're going to be putting together all the offensive plays that they're doing and how successful they were, to know which ones they might be playing the next week, right? So we'll click on offense. My internet's a little slow. There's also a lot of files inside here. So here you can see the different formations, and then the packages, or else it's the packages and the formations. I want to say these are packages, and the next step is formations. Anyways, either way, there's this larger grandiose like empty shotgun type of thing. Then it goes into, you know, the straight or the tight trips or that kind of stuff inside of those. So that's going to be, once we'll step through it. How about that? All right, so we've got number 11, Jacques, I think his name is. A lot of these players aren't with us in the league anymore. Some of them are, but not too many. So we can pause this here. So this is then the formation or the package. I think this is the package we're looking at. One thing to keep watching out is the offensive line, to find out if there are tight ends and how many are on either side. So if we look at this, we've got the center right in the middle. And then to the left of him, we've got the guard, and then we have the tackle of them. We're looking at the helmet. So we've got the quarterback right here. On the right of him, we've got again, from the center, we've got then this body here is the guard, and then this is the tackle. And then next to him, we've got a tight end. So this looks like there's a tight end on the right. This is single back in the backfield. And there's no, he's right up, the quarterback is right up underneath the center. So this right now, to me, it looks like a single back package. We've got then a single lone wide receiver on the top, and then offset a little bit off the line of scrimmage, we've got a wide receiver and a second wide receiver down towards the bottom. So we've got one on the top, two on the bottom, single back there. So, and then a tight end next on the right side on the double wide receiver side. So using that simple information, again, just being observant, taking a look at where people are, where the different positions are on the field, we'll jump over here to this formation. So I said it looked like a single back because there's no fullback in the backfield. So we're going to go find the single back. So we've got the single back. We've got one tight end on one side. On the double wide receiver side. So here, you know, it looks kind of like this, right? With these two wide receivers offset, tight end by it. This one has a tight end over here. So we're looking for something similar to that, but with a wide receiver on that side. Just gonna keep scrolling down and try to find the one here. Here we go. So we've got the line of scrimmage, right, with our 5 offensive linemen. We've got one tight end on the right side with 2 wide receivers sort of offset off the line of scrimmage, single back in the backfield, and then a wide receiver on the left side. So then this would be a single back triple formation. So then we could easily then simply, you know, we're going to put in a drive summary. So we're going to be doing, again, Seattle Tyrant drive summary. We'll go drive 1. Oops, space in there to make it easier to read. So then here we would do single back. It was triple, I believe. Single back triple. So that's what we see. All right. So then we know that. So now we've got the formation, we've got the package, we've got that set up. So now it's just figuring out what play are they playing. So we first obviously look to see, is it a run play or is it a pass play? And then that divides them pretty much almost in half, cuts that down pretty easily. So we'll just watch a little bit here and see what happens. Quarterback goes back. Obviously it's a pass play. So one thing that I like to do is we'll put pass in front of it. Makes it easy then. Eventually we want to maybe track, you know, how many run plays did they do versus how many pass plays, how many plays total did they do, that kind of thing. So that gets to be a little bit valuable as well. Sometimes I'll even, after I go through this, color code these. So making pass blue and run red, R and R to me, run equals red, pass blue. Don't ask me why, but that's how I use it. That way you can sort of look and scan. I also use highlighting to highlight things like incompletes, tackle for losses, interceptions, punts, touchdowns. I use different highlighting for that. And I'll show you that a little bit too. All right. So we want to find out. So we've got a pass play. So we'll go back just a little bit to the start of the play. And what we'll want to do, we'll pick one player of interest on here to find out what they do. Well, let's look at the lone individual wide receiver at the top. So we'll start playing that and see what they do. So that looks like they're coming out straight and then they cut to the outside after about 5 yards. So that really starts to understand, that really starts to illustrate what we'd be looking for in the place, right? So if we go to, oops, to this folder, so we know it is a single back. So we'll double click that, which will bring up the different formations for single back. And it was triple, so we find triple. Again, there's a lot of these, right? Not all of them have this many, but like shotgun and single back both do. So we'll go triple. We'll look inside here, and this would then probably have 24 plays or so, right? They're all little images. They're gonna load, maybe a little slowly. Hopefully here they come. All right, so we're looking at this. I don't know if I mentioned it here, another thing, but sometimes the plays get flipped. So even though they might look, so even though like we saw our triple, this is the way, this is the default way that it is, right, with this lone wide receiver on the left, but they can actually be flipped. So then you might have to mentally transpose what that would be back to the other way, looking at both sides of it. In this case, makes it a little bit easier that it is not flipped. So we're looking at this wide receiver 1, and we can see that with these little dots here, right? We'll open it up, but we knew that this wide receiver 1 went up and out. So very similar to this one here. We'll double click it. I double clicked it. Let's see. It will come up. Here we go. It's changing slowly but surely. Here we go. So we've got the wide receiver going up and cutting to a simple out route, right? What's about this play that we could look at the other players? So let's look at the wide receiver that's at the bottom of the field, if they go up and out route as well to the other side. So we can simply jump back to this play. We'll rewind it just the 5 seconds, the little arrow. So we're gonna look at this player down here. They may end up going off screen, we'll see. They go up, and it looks like they don't, they keep going. So something else is different. Let's take a look. So we know that outside, that top wide receiver goes out. Let's look at another spot. Let's look at the tight end and see what he does. So if we hit play from here, tight end goes up and does a little loop and over to the outside. There's a little loop, a little spin move. So we'll take a look for a little spin move from the little spot where the wide receiver, the tight end is. So now it's just sort of the scanning these to see if there's something where they do that, where both the single wide receiver goes out and then the tight end goes up and sort of does a little spin, little loop. And again, you can click in to see these. If your eyes aren't very good, mine tend to be okay, but I'm looking for things that sort of pop out similar to, we want to look at that out route. And we're looking for the tight end that goes a little loop towards the outside. There's still some more here loading. All right, we reached the end. One thing that often happens is if you want to pay attention to if the quarterback does any type of audible, and usually that audible means that one of the routes is going to not run the route that it's set in stone to do, but instead it's going to do a quick out. Maybe that top wide receiver was an audible route and ran and did the quick out. So what we'll do is, that's just not, I was looking for that out as well as the tight end. So now I'm just going to look strictly at the tight end and see if there's one that does a little loop. I know this is fascinating, isn't it? And here we go. This looks like an interesting. So that the tight end running and doing a little loop seems like a pretty special thing that it should be doing. So these red arrows are sort of like these are the primary route that the quarterback is going to be looking at. So if they're doing something special, like a lot of them you'll see doing like a Z, or like a zigzag or a hook in and go, or things like that. So here we see this Y, that's the tight end going up, spinning around, doing a little loop or a hook, and then going towards the out. Again, we can go back and look at the video and see if the quarterback does a little back and forth or like a stand back and audible. And that would change this route to that quick out. But we can also look, we talked about this lower one. We were looking at that other one where they went out. This one actually looks like it goes up and does a post towards the middle, where the more inside wide receiver here goes out a little bit and straight up. Again, they're off screen, so it's a little harder to sort of insinuate what they might be doing. But if we look at what they do a little bit, it might give us a little bit of a clue as to how close we are. So again, we're looking at for this one to go up and slant inward, sort of a post route. And then this one comes outward pretty right away and up, sort of a hot route. It comes out and up. Here we played it. You can see that one does come out a little bit, and then we'll probably see them go straight up. This one will cut in a little bit, but again, it's off screen. So that's all we can assume is that that's sort of what they're doing. But that little tight end hook and out kind of thing really was the clear winner for what I think this one is. I didn't look at what it was. So here we see it as a 50 tight end spin out. So we can go over to here. So it was a single back, triple, 50 tight end spin out. And then what we can do is see how successful it was. So they ended up catching it. Right now, the playhead's in the way, sort of, but they started off on the 30, first and 10. So they caught it, ended up going out of bounds, 60-yard gain. Oftentimes, if I could, I'd write down or either the number or the player that caught it, just so that it's easier to better understand. Was it a tight end catching it? Was the wide receiver catching it? But at the least we can do is put 6 yards. So now we know they had a pass, single back, triple formation, 50 tight end spin out was what they did, and they got it for 6 yards. All right, that's our first play. Took a while to get there, right? But it starts to flow a little bit better. So we can jump ahead. We'll hit play, 2, 3. That's 15 seconds. They're in the huddle, almost there. I hit another time. That's 20 seconds roughly to where the next play comes in. There's a lot of people on that scrimmage line, right? So we might have to count these. So you've got the first one, that's the center. Next one is the guard, then a tackle. And then we've got probably a tight end and a tight end. And if we look over here again, going from the center, guard, tackle, tight end, and then a single back in the backfield, and the quarterback. So this isn't an I formation because that would require a fullback back there, or with the strong I, it would be fullback and a tight end. So with this one, we'd want to go check this out, probably a single back formation as well. But this one has 2 tight ends on either side, or what looks like tight ends. I wonder if let's see if there's 2 tight ends, or it could be this one here. I don't know. Again, it's hard to read the numbers of their jerseys until maybe the play starts. We can maybe see, or if you sort of know what the fullback looks like. More than likely, I don't think there's 4 tight ends on any given team, so it very well might be this. Let's see if there's any other. So this is the second page out of 3 for single back. The other ones look, again, they're more offset from the line of scrimmage versus being right there. I don't see anything that is really matching other than that one. So then, we can assume that that's what it is because I can't see anything else that would match any better than that. So yeah, I think we'll put single back F-wing jokers. So we'll switch over to here. I'm not sure if it was a run or pass yet. So single back F, gotta spell that right, F-wing jokers. And then we'll go back here. So again, one of these on the end will be the fullback. I'm not, that's where you could look at the roster. You could take a look at what they what the player numbers are, or players are, and see that. Maybe you go into full screen or 1080p to be able to get a little bit better view. This is at 720 right now, but we'll play. We'll see how this plays out, if it's a run or a pass. It looks like it is a run right up the gut. That is a number 31. That tends to be, pretty a back versus a 50, 40, 80 of a tight end. So we'll say that looks like a really solid. I'm 99% sure that that's probably what it is. It's a run up the gut. We'll go back. We'll take a look at this again. But we know that it is a run, so we'll put run. Keeping it a little visually different sometimes. All right. So looking at this, we've got, back up just again a little bit here. You can also, as a tip, someone told me, Stefan Forge, actually over ex-SFLM, Ottawa Cavalry, San Diego Mavericks defensive coach now, that you can change the playback speed. But then he said that actually helps you, setting it at 0.75, so you can really slow down the running of the routes, because sometimes it does go really fast. So that really helps. That helps to see exactly what they're doing. So let's see what happens. I think that some of these individuals on the outside come inside. Yep, there's a guard or tackle that comes in. Let's see if we can figure out which one it is, if it's the guard or the tackle. So here, I put my mouse on the tackle and see if he's the one that moves back or if he's the one that goes forward. It looks like it was the guard coming forward, making that lane. And it's just sort of the running up the gut. So so we've got the single back F-wing joker. So we'll go back over here, close that window. We have to go back to single back. I keep wanting to say, I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, ribs. All right, so we were at F-wings jokers. And then wings, hey, it's like barbecue wings or like buffalo wings. Man, you'd think I didn't eat dinner tonight, right? All right, so it's a run up the gut. So here we can tell with if there's letters like the buttons on the images, that is either a pass or a read option for it. So we were looking for a run. Those are ones that do not have those circles on it. So we can more easily see that. We can see that they all have the little halfback on the bottom, the little white dot. We're looking for one that has a red arrow, pretty much straightforward. That would be what we were looking for. This is a bend back. I don't think he bent back or like a counter of any sort. And it was right up the middle. So it might be like a dive or an ISO. I want to say dives sometimes will pull in the offensive linemen and sneak them in a little bit. But here's one that's coming up in right up the gut. We'll let this load. And then it's hard also, because I have the ability to zoom in on my Mac. You can see these little, it's hard to see some of these gray bars, but you can see how the offensive line is blocking. I wish it was a different background here so you can see that better. But all of these are going straight up. So there is none that are being pulled in this weak dive example. So we'll just keep looking. There should be one that matches or gets us close to there. Here's a strong trap. The trap actually might be the pulling of that guard. Yep, you can sort of see. Hopefully you guys, if it's zooming in for you. So this guard here, you can sort of see that it gets a little lighter gray, and then it comes over this way and adds into this area. So this then looks, we had that guard pulling and coming out or coming back behind the center and the right guard with the not fullback, the halfback following. So that's the strong trap, and I feel pretty solid that would be what it is. So we'll go back over here, type in strong trap. Then we have to figure out how successful was it. Let's see. I don't think so. They start off on this 36th. It was 2nd and 4, but then it's 3rd and 5 after this. Even though the hash line is so close, they may not have moved enough to move what yard line it's on, but it is far enough away from the 10-yard or the first down marker to denote that they are a little bit further. So that was, I would count that as a loss. So we would put, we put -1 yard. That's because there's the dash there. Let's go TFL, -1 yard. So in this case, a lot of times I'll click that, add a little yellow highlight. Yellow for me is something that, you know, hey, pay attention to this. So let's say they ran, the next one was a pass. And we'll skip forward just a little bit. We'll just have a little fun. So this, I mean, the basics, you know, hopefully you'll be able to play with this a little bit. And this is sort of how it works. Let's say they pass. It's a gun formation, straight. We see this all the time. Let's do an all 90 all slants. You guys will probably see that, you know, all for the gun straight, we've got the quarterback behind, like, what, 3 yards behind, 2-3 yards behind the quarterback or center. On one side, we've got 3 wide receivers lined up straight. I believe there's a 4th on the left side as well, all alone. And then 90 all slants, they go up just, you know, 3 to 5 yards, and then they all slant in. It looks like they're all in, like, synchronized swimmers in some way. They're all doing the same thing, unless they get hit or bumped. If there's bump coverage or things, they do get thrown off a little bit. Let's say they did that, but that was an incomplete. So we'd put an ink there and highlight that yellow. Let's say they passed again. They tried it on 4th down. Oops. Actually, no. Let's say they punt, and we put that, keep that as yellow. But we don't want yellow for everything. So turn that off. We'll make this bold so that each drive stands out. Make that bold, make that bigger. Okay, so now we've got drive 2. So we'd fast forward to the next drive, right? We'd watch what that does. Maybe let's do another one. Let's just pick up right here. Let's see what happens. Maybe not. How about we just fake it? All right. So drive 2. Let's say they run weak I, and we'll jump over here. I want to talk a little bit about weak and strong. That really weak and strong, and or near and far. Both of those are a little bit. They start to get easier to see once you get a little practice with them. We'll jump up to sort of, everybody knows this I form, right? You've got the quarterback, the fullback, and the running back behind them. So that makes an I. That's pretty easy, right? The strong and weak I are pretty much the same, only the fullback is on one side or the other. So it's sort of an offset I, what people would say, and that either would contain both either the strong I or the weak I. The weak I, what you want to look for is which side of the offensive line does the tight end line up on. And again, going down that, find the center, work out guard, tackle. Is there a tight end? Is there a tight end? Which side is that? Is there, if there's one, you know, look at then the side that the fullback is on. Are they on the side with the tight end? That would be the strong side. If they're on the side opposite the tight end, that would be the weak side. So in this example, we're seeing the weak I. Fullback is offset to the opposite side of the fullback of the tight end. But if we scroll up a little bit to the strong I, the fullback is on the tight end side, right? And then similar with near and far, think of near as strong, far as weak. So similarly, if we scroll up to find the near and far, so again, there's a lot of these in here, but it starts to you get used to it. So here they're not lined up in an I. They're almost like a split back, but just off center. The fullback is right behind the quarterback, and the halfback is on one side or the other. On near, the halfback lines up on the strong side, the tight end side. And then for far, I think far must be above that. There we go. So on far, the halfback is usually lined up on the opposite, on the weak side, away from the tight end. So that's an easy way, taking a look, how is the fullback, halfback, quarterback situation in the backfield, and then what side are they on compared to the tight end that usually is out there. Or in this case, the strong side would be the side with the most players, right? That tends to be the strong side. Again, here you've got the tight end and the wide receiver. That is the strong side. So this is then the far, because he's on the far side. So weak and far, strong and near, those all get grouped together based on side of the field, right? Or side of the quarterback they're on. So, all right, so we'll jump back over here. Okay, so weak I, let's say they run a strong ISO right up the gut. A weak I we need to have. So weak I is just the package, the type of stuff is out there, but we need to figure out where the wide receivers might be. So we talked about pro. No, I didn't talk about pro. Pro formation or package tends to be, one wide receiver on one side, one on the other side of the offensive line. Pretty easy to find. Almost all of these have a pro option, 1 and 1. That's pretty simple, right? So we could easily do something like that. Let's say they run it up the gut, and hey, they get 4 yards. Great, awesome, good for them. So then we could do a pass. Oops. Keep it consistent. Let's see. So we just did a weak, which is similar to a far. Let's do something on the strong side. Let's do the near, right? Near, another type of package or formation. Another subset of this could be twins. Twins are 2 wide receivers, just like pro, but they're all on the same side. They're a little bit offset based on the line of scrimmage, but they're both on the same side. So we could say near twins. And then they might, to pass, let's say it is a 90 TE slant. So this would be tight end would be lining up. The halfback would be on the side of the tight end. The tight end would run up, 3 to 5 yards and slant inward. Then there's things that the wide receivers are doing, but again, this is the hot route. That red one is what you'd be looking at in those lists of things. Here, let's say they threw an interception. So if there's an interception, that would end their drive, right? We'll make this bold, just like the other one. For things like interceptions or sacks or things that are sort of like, you might need to pay attention to that play. Something is sort of broken with that in that play at that point. More than just an incomplete. An incomplete happens. Sometimes it's just the receiver bobbling the ball a little bit. But I like to mark that red, so it's easier to see for whoever's reading this to determine what's going on. And then there's another step that after you get through the whole game, oftentimes you might have in between, 10, 15 drives, maybe even more, depending on if there's like overtime or how much time of play or time of possession your team or the team that you are scouting had the ball. So there might be a lot of plays that you're scouting, but it's kind of fun. It's almost like, once you get into it, it's kind of like seeing the Matrix, and all of a sudden everything, you're starting to see this come together, and you can see it on the field, sort of how you might see Eddie Gage in an Arizona game start calling out the plays that are going on. Or you might even jump into your minor league game and start calling out the formations and plays that are going on. Anyways, I hope this has been sort of helpful We didn't really go through too many, but that's the sort of the process of just like stepping it through. Pause at the beginning before they hike the ball. What formation and package are they in? Go to that cheat sheet, look at that. Start to looking at the locations of these people, how they're set up. From that, then you can go into that Google Drive and narrow it down and look at all the plays, looking at specific positions and seeing what they do and trying to find that, and then look at another position and try to find that and try to find them, the ones that match up. Yeah, sometimes I'll also, if I don't know, let's say it's a pass play. Oops, they intercepted it. We'll start a new drive number 3. Pass play. This has happened to me many times, especially before I knew about the audible situation, is not knowing if this is the right play, or like, I think this might be close. But what you might do is maybe it's an empty backfield and it's a tight trips or something like that. And maybe it's something like 90x corner or something. I don't know. 90x corner. What is it? Anyways, X. There we go. Thank you. X corner. And you could put question marks. Don't really know. You could also return tab and go to the video where that play starts, right? And you can go to share on a computer at least. And I've done scouting some of this on my phone because I've got the docs pulled up. You can do it pretty easily there. It takes a little bit more time, but not too much more. And you can say, so you want to copy the link to the video that you're looking at and just put start at the time right before the play happens. So you can copy that. So you can have another person come in and give their opinion. So if you're like, I'm not really sure, you can tell them sort of go take a look at that play. So then they can like go directly there and check it out. So this is getting a little long. I want to sort of pause it here. Once you guys get a little bit used to this, maybe in a week or two, I'll put together another one about, once we I'll get a filled out one of these drive summaries together, because the next step then would be taking the drive summary and putting it into a more of an official report. So here I started for this game, here's the main players on the team that we're scouting, the Seattle Tyrants, their statistics from this game to know how well they did, right? And then down here, we can do play breakdown. So here we would do something like, so we had drive 1, single back, triple. So we would find, single back, all the single ladies. All right, single back triple. We had a 50 tight ends spin out. Oops. Put that in there. How many times they ran it. So we'll just go through every single play and put it in here, how they ran it. Was it successful? They got 6 yards. So if it's greater than or equal to 5, we put a 1 there. So that's how many times they did that. And then we put how many actual yards they got. They got 6. So if they ran it again, we'd increment that. They ran it for a second time. This time they also got it for more than 5 yards. So we'll put 2 of the plays ran it for more than that. But this time it was 12 yards. So we just keep doing that. Maybe they ran it a third time. But this time it was a tackle for loss. So we add it there. Maybe they ran it a 4th time. But this time it was only for 3 yards. So we can put a 1 there. So now how many times did they run it? 4 times. One of them was a tackle for loss. One of them was between 0 and 5 yards, or 0 and less than 5 yards. Then there were 2 of them that were greater than 5 yards. And then this was how many there were. Similarly, so we would just for every single back there, I form here, weak I here, and just build it out. That way we'll get a little bit more in depth with that next time. But anyways, that's sort of eventually that's what you're getting to with working on this is sort of your real-time snapshot of the game with all the plays, and then you can put it into that format so you can get a little bit better of a reading of what plays worked well, which ones didn't, which that team might actually remove from the playbook and use that and or replace with something else that did work or similar to what worked. Anyways, yeah, a lot of information coming at you, but it's really not that hard. It's just takes some time. Again, I just started doing this, roughly June, and it's, I started doing some of these reports for my team in August, late July and August, and I've been learning ever since. It's not difficult. It's just break it down into small pieces. All right, well, that sort of wraps up our first little minor F&I insight bite related to scouting. I hope, it feels a little bit more empowering to you. This is just sort of the surface level of what you can do. Anything like this that you can do for your team right now or in future seasons to come, minor league, pro league, it's just going to make you so much more valuable to your organization. Again, as always, reach out if you have any questions. Let's discuss this. If you need the links, if you don't see them below, come and grab them in my Discord. Reach out to me in DM in Discord or add comments right down below. And hopefully, if you have ideas for other insight bites, oh goodness, I want to say insect bite. Anyways, insight bites. Hit me up. I'm willing to try to share whatever knowledge I've got or get others to share it as well. Anyways, thanks for joining us, and I hope it's been valuable. Talk soon.